Hi, it's Alaska Granny. As preppers, we're always having all kinds of questions, concerns, things that we wonder about. What could happen? What could the future bring? How can I best be prepared? We know that the future is uncertain, and so there are a lot of questions for preppers. How can we best prepare? How can we face the challenges of an unknown, uncertain future? We know that there will be problems for all kinds of people. Nobody goes through life without experiencing challenges. It could be as simple as you lose your job, you become sick, you fall and get hurt. You just could face all kinds of things, from your car breaking down to look at what's going on in the world. There are so many weather events, there's political unrest, there are wars breaking out, and food shortages. So there are a lot of reasons why we want to at least be concerned with the future, deal with what the responsibilities are for us to take care of ourselves, and then make a plan to go forward with a positive outlook that, yes, life could be difficult, there can be challenges, but I am up for the challenge because I want to do the best I can to take care of myself and my family and make each day be the best it can be. We need to face our fears to be better prepared. We need to realize what could happen, and then how can we be prepared for that type of a situation. There are a lot of tricky situations, and what comes down to is managing your emotions. We can't just be fearful. We need to feel that we're confident that we have done the best that we can, and we will be able to accept challenges. So that's one of the biggest questions for preppers. Can you keep your emotions under control so that you can make sound decisions? You don't need to panic because you've thought about some kind of crises evaluations of what would you do in certain situations. And if you've thought about it and you have some plans, it's easier to implement them with whatever comes your way, because you say, okay, well, I've already thought about how to have enough water, how to have enough food, how to provide heat for my family, how to have some emergency lights. What are some ways I could provide an emergency shelter? Do I even have a tent? What if I'm out in my car and I can't make it home? Do I have enough supplies in the car that I could take care of myself until I can figure out how to rectify this situation, how to get the car going again, how to get around whatever the traffic problem is, or how to deal with until the sun comes up and you can find your way and get going again? It's important that we ask questions and we consider what the answers could be. Have you thought about who you can trust, who you could count on? Because a lot of times we feel like we would be there for others, but we're not really sure who would be there for us. And that's something that you might really want to give some thought. Ponder those questions and figure out, if you are there for people, how do you make sure that they're there for you? If you have suggestions on how we can best figure these things out, leave it in the comments below, because it's important that we figure out how to determine someone's character, if they're there for us, what we can count on, and what our responsibilities are to others if they do let us down. So leave it in the comments. How are you dealing with that and navigating that issue? Can you be brave even if you're scared? Do you have courage in you to know that you can put it together, take care of yourself, be there for your friends and your family, do what it takes? Do you have the courage to go out and try to grow a garden, to start a fire, to figure out how to chop up some wood if you need to? Do you have the courage to know that you could dress as warmly as possible, hoist up your big heavy backpack and get walking if you had to? Do you have the courage that if there's a problem and you must evacuate, do you have the courage to grab the items in your house that are really the most vitally important to you, load up your car within a couple of minutes and get going, that you have a plan already made? You've had the courage to face that that could be something that happens to you. What are you going to do? Don't ever say, I'm never going to leave my home. Things could happen that you can't stay in your home. And I'm always surprised how many people say, I'm never leaving my home, I have all my supplies. Because the way I look at it, everything that you have can be replaced. You can't replace your life or the lives of your loved ones. And so it's mostly critically important that you preserve your life and that you can always figure out what to do next because you're resourceful. Evaluate the way you keep track of your prepping supplies. Do you have them stashed away hither and yon into each nook and cranny so that you know that you have lots of stuff? That may not be the most efficient way to keep track of your supplies. If you aren't going through and checking your supplies, making sure they're fresh, that you know how to use the different kinds of things you have, that you know how to use them, where they are, do you have any gaps? And so yes, that can be time consuming, but it's important that you really know, what do I have, where do I have it, what do I still need to get, and then make a budget for how to continue to add to your prepping supply. Never go into debt over emergency supplies, because then you're creating another emergency that now you have debt overwhelming you as well. So if you are in debt, get out of debt and then pinch those pennies so that you have some money set aside for emergencies and to continue to add to your prepping supplies. If you get a little at a time with just a few dollars, pretty soon you're going to have a lot. And if you strategically plan on food that I can make easy meals, supplies for first aid, the cuts and bruises, bangs and headaches, that you have some extra hygiene supplies. You have on hand those things like toilet paper, shampoo, soap. You have your body lotion if it's something that you rely on, your deodorant, and a clean hairbrush, and of course your toothbrush and toothpaste, so that you aren't going to have a crisis of just taking care of your basic needs. Remember during the pandemic when you couldn't get toilet paper? I had a friend who had none. We organized a drive-by with some of our friends, and we drove by and we tossed them rolls of toilet paper in a bag so that then they would have some. So we were able to look out for each other. We were told it wasn't safe to get together, and so we made it a way that we could provide emergency supplies for those in need. And trust me, if you run out of toilet paper, you might have some needs. So think about, do you have enough of that, and what could you do if you ran out? Do you have any supplies? Maybe you want to invest in even a portable bidet, or have some extra baby wipes, or some kind of reusable fabric squares that you could wash if you needed to, because nobody wants to go without those simple basic things. If having an extra pack of toilet paper helps me not have to worry about needing to reuse a cloth square, I'm going to make sure that I have some of that. That's my personal decision. Try to live frugally, live below your means, so that you actually have the choices on what really means the most to you. You can choose the things that you really value the most, that you really want. You can have anything you want, but you can't have everything. And so the way to have something that you really value is to live below your means, pinch those pennies, save those dollars, and then put that money towards what's really important to you. Then no matter what the project is, whether you're prepping or deciding to get in shape or go on a diet, pace yourself so that you don't get burned out, you don't get injured, you don't make a critical mistake because you're overtired. You want to make sure that you're taking those steps a little at a time. Then you can reevaluate the steps that you've done, what are the goals that you still want, and you can keep going on your path. So pace yourself. Don't become so enraptured with this great idea that you go overboard, because that's when we make mistakes. Most of all, have confidence in yourself that you can get up and do it, that you can keep going and make the best of it. It also helps to me that I have great faith, and that I know that I'm not alone. Faith isn't for everyone, but it is for me, and it gives me great comfort. That doesn't mean, if we're faithful, that nothing bad will happen to us. All you have to do is look back through any time in history to know that people have suffered, people of faith have suffered, and it's just something that happens. It isn't like God is going to protect you. He has given you the right, the free will, and the ability to live your life, and it's never going to be without challenges and hard times. But it does come with consequences. And so the choices that you make can help make it better so that we can have the best outcome. Leave it in the comments. What are some questions for preppers that you think we need to think about to help us prepare in these times of challenge? I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.